was it always that big of an issue and something you think about, or something you're like, oh well, I don't want to?
It was something. I'll be really honest with you. I mentioned him a lot, but something my dad beat into me early. And you have to understand when you're in college or even younger, when you're a mama's dad's boy like me. Sometimes what your dad says, you just believe your dad. But the way that I see it now is that any of these companies, right, whether it's like a movie studio or Syndicate or any of them, they have these wonderful infrastructures that distribute your work and get your work out there, but they can't do anything without the work. They need the work to distribute it. And it's important that you remember that what you do, and this is going to sound egotistical, but you need it to survive and to stay sane. What you do is more important than what they do. Yes, it's a partnership, but it's a give and take, and it should be beneficial to both parties, yes. But what you do, they need you. You don't need them, okay? Yes, you want to partner with them. Yes, you want to work with them. You do need them for certain things. But what I'm saying is they need you more than you need them. So when they promise you what they'll give you up front, what they promise you what you'll get this year or next year, what you have to keep in mind is your ownership of the property, your control of the property, is more valuable than anything they'll pay you this year, next year, the next 5 years. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I know people's opinion will differ on it. And you can meet a lot of people that, listen, I have friends that work at Marvel and they love it and they don't own any of the characters they invent. They create new villains every month and Marvel owns them and they're fine with it. But that's a very different relationship and that's work for hire, that's different. But what I'm saying to you is the way that I look at it is the money you're getting paid right now is your salary. But your ownership of your property is your retirement fund, okay? And if I had given away, PvP at the beginning, I would have been screwed. I would literally had to have started over. And yeah, I might be here still today talking to you, and I'd be the guy who drew, no shoes for Tuesday instead of PvP. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't have had to start over. And who knows how that would have damaged my psyche or whatever. And I really view that as super important, especially to maintain control. You want that bargaining chip. Sorry it took me so long to answer your question.
Thank you very much.
What's up, Charlie Brown?
Hey, my name's Jason.
No, it's Charlie Brown.
Cheapest cosplay imaginable.
I know. Don't come dressed like that.
My girlfriend even did the drawing on it.
That is awesome.
I've been a PvP fan since before the format shift, where you changed the art and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Loved it, especially this last year. The art's just gotten amazing.
Thanks. I've tried really hard to step up my game.
I love it. I haven't been a Scott Kurtz fan until the first D&D Penny Arcade.
You were separating the art from the artist.
I didn't know you.
Oh, you didn't know me. I see what you're
Right.
saying. I thought you were saying I loved your comic, but dude, you're an asshole. Don't laugh. There are people in this room that feel that way, I'm sure. Oh, but anyway, thank you.
What's in the future for that? Are you going to be doing more podcasts about?
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
The podcasts. Ask the guy behind you. Not you, dude. I'm game for them, and I think I have a blast doing them. But Binwin, I'm starting work on an original graphic novel for Binwin. I want to do a full story with Binwin and adventures with Giacomo and stuff. So you'll definitely see more Binwin stuff. But hopefully Wizards, just keep telling Wizards you like it. Keep downloading the podcast, and hopefully they'll let us.
You like it?
Definitely, no. We're having way too much fun.
The third series launched last Friday. And the
Yeah.
episode went up today.
New episode what today?
The second episode.
Did you get my art?
I got your art. Speaking of which, I have a question for you, Scott. Being a self-employed boss.
Yes.
and having to deal with setting your own deadlines.
We're out of time.
How does one manage your time and stay motivated?
One doesn't manage my time.
To accomplish all of the projects that you have on your plate.
That's a very good question. I'll tell you my process. On my own personal projects, all right, where I am my own client, I have a very strict rule of, there needs to be a new strip up every day. Sometimes it's posted at midnight, sometimes it's posted at 5 in the evening. When I'm hired by a client, I expect my person handling the client to get me all of the important details on time. Specs, material, none of this horse shit where it's like, artwork's coming soon, or maybe you should do podcast 2 art when really it's podcast. Jeff's giving me a hard time because Jeff's in charge of that campaign, and I've been so bad about getting art to him, and I've been really behind.
But everything you do is so great, and thank you.
I'll take my risk, Jeff. I need more people like you riding my ass on that stuff. I started using iCount to keep track of my life, and then I was like, well, maybe, I love Mac products, but maybe this is a little too bubblegum. Like, maybe I should get Microsoft Office. And so I got, yeah, right, exactly. So I put Entourage on, and I'm like, oh yeah, this calendar looks terrifying. So I plotted out my whole week, and I set up reminders, and by 3 p.m. day 1 of that thing going, doo-doo, I'm like, fuck you, shut up, no. I'll tell you when I'm ready to draw this shit. And then all of a sudden I see that icon for iCal going, I'll just give you a little candy coated thing that says maybe you should do it. I'm like, thanks, iCal. So I went back to iCal, but I have like a calendar now, and I have never had, dang it, there's a kid in the front. I've been cursing like a school. Good job, Dad. And you stared at me the whole time. Why didn't you say something?
He goes to public school.
Little kid comes up to me after the show. He's like, and he just starts cursing at me. Come on, wimp. Good.
Hi, my name is Carmen, and
Hi, Carmen.
you've been pretty vocal lately about the syndicated comics and like the newspapers.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if you foresaw any of them moving over towards an online format, or what you see for that.
Well, look, most of them are already online, right? Some people like Bill really get it, right? Bill Amon's here, he goes Foxtrot. When's your panel? Tomorrow. He's got a panel tomorrow where he's in where? 11:30 in the morning. Which room?
Straight theater.
He's in the show, right? But look it up. But Bill really gets it. There's a lot of syndicated cartoons that really get it. And keep in mind that when you say, like, when you mention my flight with the syndicates, you're really talking about my flight with, like, Rich Stromoski and Wyoming, like 3 guys. Ted Rawl, maybe. But, I wanted skin in that game for a long time. Skin the game, that was for you. Like, it broke my heart, and still a little bit does, that I cannot get in the National Cartoon Society. Like, they will not let me in. And, listen, I get it. At this point, why would they let me in, right? We should let Scott Kurtz in, the guy that's like, fuck you, dinosaurs. I get it now. But, and it's awesome, poor Bill. Bill is in there championing for me, and then I'm doing a comic strip where, the point of the comic strip is a bunch of old men going, these webcomics draw with fire, and I don't like it. and then I log on to WoW, and Bill's on our server, and I just get this text like, God damn it, Scott. I'm trying so hard. But know that as passionate as I get about it, it's because I'm kind of hurting my heart about it. I really wanted to be a part of that world. And then I was like, I found this way to do it, and then I made a living, and I show up, and I'm like, guys, look, I'm just like you, I made it, I can do it. They're like, no. No, sir, you are most certainly not like us. With your shits and your goddammits. Sorry. But I will say this: I don't know what newspapers are going to be in 5 5 or 10 years, or what syndicated cartoons are going to be in 5, 10 years. Do I think they're going to go away? No. Yes, I made a T-shirt that said, "But I'm killing newspapers by reading webcomics." But thanks. But I mean, that was almost supposed to be irony, if that's even the proper use of the term. I don't really believe that. I feel like they think that that's real. So, but no, I love them. I mean, listen. I don't think it's fair that there's young kids that want to be syndicated and they're rerunning for better for worse. I love Lynn Johnson, but you know, like we met in San Diego. This guy named Dennis LeBrun, and I can't get a hold of him. He drew Blondie for 25 years. This guy drew Blondie, one of the most popular comic strips in the world, for 25 years. And they fired him, and he's unemployed. He's got nothing because he worked for 25 years on someone else's idea. And now they're done with them, and now someone else is drawing Blondie. And you guys know Blondie's still in the paper. If I said, who here knows that Blondie's still in the paper, you'd all raise your hand. And I said, you know the guy that drew it for 25 years doesn't draw anymore? And you'd be like, I don't give a shit. Blondie is, you know, eat a sandwich, snurks. Tomorrow it'll be, eat a sandwich, bonk the dog, snurks. You know, but think about that. I mean, 25 years of your life is a long time. And I would love to talk to Dennis and say to him, what strip ideas do you have? Let's put it online. Let's do a case study at webcomics.com. And we'll see if people, you know, let's see if we can get you online. It'll be real fun. So I love syndicated comics. I love the format. I love the art. I love reading old stuff. I love Pogo. I mean, it's all good stuff. But they broke my heart. And so I must destroy them. Sorry, Bill, not you. I love you. But she will die too. Thanks, man, for your question. What's up, dude? I got 5 minutes. We're gonna rapid fire these. You don't get cute stories. What's your question?
I was just wondering, how do you decide like when it's time to change your art style a little bit, or like when you want to draw a character differently? Like when you did the level up thing for Francis, and he was just like different.
Well, yeah. What I'm starting to learn now is that I think that the audience kind of understands, and I think it's a different beast than it used to be, and I think my readers are a lot more savvy than readers maybe used to be, and they understand. And I also have accessibility to them, right? Like if I was in the paper and all of a sudden the art was different, they wouldn't know why, they wouldn't know what I was thinking, but I can make a blog post and say, I want to try something different, guys, today, and you guys know. I mean, we can communicate. I can communicate in Twitter or whatever. But it's kind of a living, breathing thing, and I don't have the time running this business and doing the strip to develop it on the side. So I just kind of play with it as I go. If you go back and look at the last week of strips, you'll see the hair, the puff to hair on Cole's dad's head starts here, then it's here, and then I'm like, nah, and then I'm back to here. And I think it's fun, and I think it's interesting, especially since kind of the other half of my new role is kind of teaching about webcomics, and so people can kind of see it happening as it goes. I just honestly don't have the time to develop on the side. So I just like experimenting in the strip. And hopefully you guys like it too. Looking forward to
a derivative work like Garfield minus Garfield, the webcomic?
Yeah.
How do you think of something like that?
I think it's awesome, dude. Listen, let me tell you something. Jim Davis is the smartest SOB on the planet. That guy is, he's one cool cat. He loves Mondays. I got to know Jim ancillarily through a guy named, Dave Reddick, who works for him. And Dave introduced Jim to Garfield minus Garfield, and he was like, that is awesome. And now he's got a book. He took it and made it a book. Like, Jim really gets it. And he saw it for what it was. He saw it was great. He saw it was in good-natured fun, and he made a book out of it. I mean, that's awesome. You can go down to the Barnes & Noble and buy Garfield minus Garfield. Right? I think it's awesome. I was just told we're out of time.